It's October 28th. This is the Legit Betting Edge podcast, episode number 6. I'm Brian Benito, along with my partner, Scott Johnson. Scott, how are you this Wednesday afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing good, Brian. It's baseball's over. World Series ended last night. And for those of you out there that aren't following me on Twitter, you can go to my Twitter page at ScojoAZ Sports. My Instagram page is ScojoPicks, and my website is up and running now, ScojoPicks.com. And Brian got us set up with the YouTube channel. So Legit Betting Edge. Is it Legit Betting Edge podcast or Legit Betting Edge?
Legit Betting Edge podcast.
Okay. All right. Legit Betting Edge podcast on YouTube. Go there, subscribe. We'll be putting tons of stuff out now on Twitter and social media. So all we ask is if you like what you hear, retweet it. Help us grow as much as you can.
Yeah. If you want to send us an email, we have legitbettingedge@gmail. My Twitter is @my_bankroll. That's where I'm primarily at right now. We're building content, obviously, with these podcasts, and we're just rolling. Let's get started. We had the final game. Dodgers win the World Series. Take it away, Scott.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game. I was rolling with Tampa Bay on the money line. I got them at plus 120. But I was watching that game, and actually before the game even started, I wanted to see how Snell was going to be doing. And I was willing in that game to jump on the Dodgers money line at any time where I thought that game was going to get out of control. And, Snell was just dominant through 6 innings. But the Rays, they had a lot of opportunities early. They couldn't put more than one run on the board. But, what everybody's talking about is, giving up the hit to Barnes and then taking Snell out of the game. And I understand the Rays are in that World Series because of that reason right there. They've been doing that all year long. I get all of that, but the minute he walked out, threw his hand up, I jumped on the money line. I think I got the Dodgers at minus 117. I had a 2-unit bet on the Rays money line plus 120. I went 5 units on the Dodgers immediately, and I put a tweet out immediately. This is a mistake. This game is over. And the other thing is, I could understand going out and talking to him and maybe saying, hey, look, I'm going to give you Mookie here. If Mookie gets on, we're taking you out. But as a manager, I live with my best going against their best. And if their best beats me, I tip my cap, and I did it. I'm going to lose with my best guy on the mound. And then he brings Anderson in, who has been horrible. He's been giving up runs every game. So the analytics thing didn't even make sense to me. And I know a lot of people are saying third time through the order, OPS, all this stuff. And I get that. But game 6 of the World Series, he's got 5 months he only had 73 pitches. I just think it was horrible. Our buddy Daz on Twitter, me and him were just going postal all night long about that move. It was just a losing move. And, I'm not happy for the Dodgers because I'm a Diamondbacks, but I'm happy for Kershaw. Cody Bellinger, he's a local kid. Chandler area where I'm from. So, I'm happy for the Dodgers and kind of a couple of the guys, but I just thought it was a bad move. I know second guessing is an easy thing to do, but I just thought that was the wrong move. I roll with Snell, and if Betts beats me, he beats me. He's not going to beat me at my second best. He's going to beat my best guy. So that's how I thought. That's what I thought about it. I did end up making money on it because I did roll with, the minute they made that move, I jumped to the Dodgers immediately. So I cut my losses.
Yeah, here's my thought. First of all, real quick on the game itself, which, I didn't have a rooting interest at all. I root for underdogs just because I look for value, et cetera. And they were winning 1-0. Snell was dealing. Bottom line is this, though. I feel like the Dodgers might have come back even if you pull Snell in the 7th. Dodgers are waiting. And I just think they were just too powerful. They're going to win this series. So does it happen now? Does it happen later? Yeah, there's second guessing going on in that dugout. In the the manager he's never going to live that down. He'll never live that down. But no. I say this about analytics. You talked about third time in the order, pitch count, etc. Look, if you're going to use analytics, you got to go deeper than that. That's not analytics. That's just numbers. That is not analytics. Analytics would be something along the lines of, okay, how many strikes did the strikes come first? How many balls? you're going deeper. You're working equations with analytics. You're not just going, okay, well, he did this and they did that. That's not analytics. That's just numbers that any layman can spout out. I don't know what they had going on in the dugout, but I know it was wrong, and they pulled him too soon. And you're right. Sometimes it's like blackjack, brother. You have a basic strategy you stick with. Sometimes you got to deviate from that based on the deck and the amounts being played. And if you stick with it, you're going to live by the sword. You're going to die by the sword. And they died by it. They made it to the series, but they died by it. And
Yeah,
no
totally agree.
No
Yeah,
sympathy.
totally agree. No, exactly. And I agree with you. The Dodgers were going to win that series, even if they go to 7. They've got Buehler on the mound. I know they're going to counter with Morton, but that offense, they weren't going to. They had where they lost the game. I thought was in the first 3 or 4 innings where they didn't put runs on the board. They're not going to win that game 1-0. I totally agree with you. Snell's not going to blank them. Snell's going to probably throw 100 pitches. Maybe he gets through 8. But eventually the Dodgers were going to get to him. So I agree. I think they were losing anyway. I just thought at that moment when he didn't even come out to talk to Snell. He just first move, he one step out of the dugout, give me the righty. And I was just like, I can't believe he's not even going to talk to him. You could see it on Snell's face too. He just shook his head whatever. We've been doing this all year, but
have a conversation with him. At least give him the benefit of the doubt. Have a conversation with him, man. It's not like he gave up a run. He gave up a hit, for Christ's sake. So
exactly.
Silly stuff. So got that. Let's move on. We're going to do something a little different for this podcast and going forward every Wednesday during the NFL season. We're going to go through every single NFL game. We're going to go through the line and the total, talk about our thoughts basically midweek. These are not final bets by any stretch. They're just best guesses based on what we know right now. Things can change. Obviously, teams can play, not play. COVID might hit, etc. Weather, whatever. Things can happen. What we'll do is we'll give our final best bets on a Friday podcast for the Sunday game, and we'll also turn Friday into a mostly college football podcast. Well, that stated, let's start with the first game. Got Thursday Night Football. Scott, your thoughts, Atlanta, Carolina.
Yeah, at Atlanta, Carolina. Atlanta's just been for me. I can tell you, I've already placed a bet on this, and I've taken Carolina on the money line. I didn't take the points. I just took the money line. I got them at -127. Atlanta has proven to me that they just figure out how to lose. That's all they do. They just figure out how to lose games. They've got tons of talent on the offensive side. I know these teams played in I think week 5. Carolina won that game 23-16. I think that was Quinn's last game. I'm not sure. But couple stats. Teddy Bridgewater 31-10 against the spread as a starter. So I'm never going to go against him against the spread. I think you had him covering at New Orleans last week.
I did.
He's been playing really well. That Carolina defense is decent. I mean, they're young. They're given a lot. They're really good against the pass, but the run. People are able to rush against them. I think that's what Atlanta's going to try to do. I'm looking a little bit at the under here. I haven't made a play on that yet, but I'm definitely riding with Carolina on the money line. I've already placed that bet. That's going to be my play for Thursday. I may go with the under. There is supposed to be some weather. It's supposed to be raining, a little bit of wind, so that might affect it a little bit.
Sure.
But like I said, Teddy Bridgewater 31-10 against and the other thing is primetime under. Atlanta's last 8 games have gone under on primetime. So that's the longest streak in the NFL. So I'm looking at the under. Haven't made that bet yet, but that's how I feel about this game.
Last week Atlanta played Detroit in the Dome, and I'll tell you in the Georgia Dome, and I will say this, I expected that game to go over the total. It did not. They had trouble scoring, and quite honestly, I think both these teams might be out of gas because of what happened last week. Carolina comes up short against the Saints. Atlanta comes up short against Detroit, gives the game away. Todd Gurley can't stop himself, et cetera, et cetera. They find ways to lose. You're right. As far as the side, I would lean under right now. And the side, God, this is a tight line. It could go either way. I don't have an opinion on it. I have to think you're right. Atlanta will find a way to lose. Will Carolina cover the 3? I don't know after they got up off the bye week, to go and play, basically the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater was up for that game. Will he have enough energy for the Atlanta Falcons, which they have already beaten? Will they take them lightly? I don't know. So right now, I'm leaning under on the total. I don't know on the side.
All right, let's boom. Oh, let's go. There we go. Oh, we got that one already.
Yes.
There
Okay.
we go.
Very good. Start us out.
All right, yeah, Indianapolis at Detroit. So Indianapolis favored by 3 here. Colts got a good defense. Detroit has been playing pretty good football. I mean, they've won a couple games on the road. They're coming home. They seem to me they always lose close games at home. I don't really have a feel on this. I would probably lean to the under in this game, under the 50, because I think, the Colts defense is pretty good. Detroit seems like they could, they play pretty good defense. I think they're going to try to stuff the run, make Phillip Rivers beat them. I know Phillip Rivers had a really good game against Cincinnati, but I'm probably going to stay away from this game. This game's a little sloppy for me, so I don't really have a feel either way. I mean, if I did anything on the side, I might ride with Detroit and take the points, but I'm probably staying away from this game altogether. If I did anything on it, like I said, we're doing this on Wednesday. I might look at that total going under, but that's all I have on this game. For me, it's a sloppy betting game, so I'm probably gonna pass and stay away from this.
I'm going to give you a two-way go on this with a 6-point teaser. If you want to just tease this game itself, I'm with you on the under. I think this game goes under. Detroit stopped Atlanta from scoring. Indianapolis has a pretty good defense. Yeah, they slipped up because they gave up a turnover early against Cincinnati a couple of weeks back, but they're fresh, right? They're rested. I think you might go under the total and take Detroit plus, if you tease that up to 9, go under 56. I think you might have a winner there with a 6-point teaser. That's the way I would look at this particular game. I don't have a feel for it. I would lean Detroit if I was going to go straight up, but again, not something that I'm confident in. I would be a lot more confident going with a minus 126-point teaser on both Detroit plus the points and the under on this game.
Okay. Next up, we've got Pittsburgh at Baltimore. This is going to be one of the better games of the weekend. Pittsburgh getting 4 at Baltimore. Baltimore coming off a bye. So, I mean, I know they're pretty good off a bye. I think I wrote it down as I think they're like 9-3 against the spread after a bye under Harbaugh. Pittsburgh's covered their last 4 games. Baltimore's covered their last 5 division games. So, I mean, both these teams are really good. I think you're looking at a 3-point game here either way. So I would probably take Pittsburgh in the 4 points. That's probably where I would go in this game. The total, they could play a knockdown drag out and they could play a shootout. I mean, they could go either way in this game. So probably stay away from the total. But if you're going to give me 4, you're going to give me Pittsburgh, 5-0 team. I think they're, like, again, the best well-rounded team out there. I think they can beat you through the air. They can beat you on the ground. Baltimore, I think if they can get a lead on Baltimore struggles with that. I know they did sign Dez Bryant. I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't think he'll be there this weekend. But I'm going to ride with Pittsburgh in the 4 in this game.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad, Dez Bryant. And I'm with you on this here. This total 46.5. That's kind of an odd number. And it could float one way or the other. I don't have a feel for that. I looked at the game. I didn't look at it super deep, but I did like Pittsburgh West plus the 4. I just think Baltimore they're a front running team. And when you get a team that's stout like the Steelers that can actually get a lead like the Chiefs, that puts them in a position and puts some pressure on the quarterback. And Harbaugh's team is tough-minded, but right now they're not explosive enough when they get behind to come back. I think it's a mental hurdle they'll overcome at some point this year. They're going to have to overcome if they ever want to get to the Super Bowl, obviously. But you're right. I think Pittsburgh's just a slight notch better than them, even going into Baltimore. This reason this line is at 4 because Pittsburgh's coming off a back-to-back. This is their second road game. They played Tennessee last week. So this is another game where I would lean Pittsburgh. Don't know what I'm going to do yet. Total, that's iffy. And there we go.
And another one of the things on this game is Pittsburgh. I think it opened at 3.5 or 4.5 somewhere.
No, 5.5. Did it not? It was 5.
Did it open at 5.5? Okay, that makes sense.
It's dropped.
Yeah, because I was looking at early money coming in, and it looks like 80% of the money right now coming in on Pittsburgh. So a lot of the public money coming in on Pittsburgh. So that line has gone down. I didn't look. I didn't write that down. I forgot where the opening line was at. But yeah, I know they're at plus 4. So yeah, this game might get to 3. Who knows? I mean, money might keep coming in on the Pittsburgh side. I like, like I said, I think this is going to be a 3-point game. So if you're going to give me Pittsburgh plus 4, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Pittsburgh in the 4 points. So that's where I'm at.
One more thing. I think Sharp and public money both came in on Pittsburgh as soon as that line opened, and I think that pounded it down. Books got scared, dropped it to 3.5 for a minute. I mean, it's at 3.5 at some shops out here right now. So anyway, just some food for thought. Moving on.
All right. Chargers at Denver. And this game's interesting to me. I've actually already made I'm taking Denver, the points and the money line here. I love what Herbert or whatever his name is. Herbert. Yeah, the Oregon kid, the rookie quarterback. He's been phenomenal. I mean, he played a great game at Tampa Bay, great game at New Orleans. He faced the Jacksonville defense is pretty wretched this last weekend, had a really good day. And he's going to Denver. You've got weather. I don't think that's going to bother him very much. But, Denver does have a good defense. So I think Denver's going to be able to stay in this game. I don't know if they can win it outright, but I just like Denver at home against the Chargers. I think, 3.5. I'm definitely going to take the 3. I'm probably going to take the money line here. I like Denver in this game. I just like the spot for Denver. So that's where I'm probably riding in this. Don't have a feeling on the total at all. Denver has a hard time scoring. So, probably want to play the under every time Denver's playing. But
you might.
That's where I'm looking at this game. I have a feeling about Denver this week. I know the Chargers are looking really good on offense, and they've got a pretty decent defense. But, I'm still looking at that game. Denver went to New England. Cam was horrible, but the defense played really good there. So I think defensively they're going to be able to give the Chargers enough of a problem this week that they're going to be able to stay in this game and at least cover it, if not win it.
See, I'm on the other side of this now. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think you go into the total on this, but because I think Denver's defense is legit. But let's face facts, Denver wasn't even in that game last week.
No.
They weren't even in the game. And when a team generally is not in a game, they're not even competitive in the game. They do a couple of picks real quick. I just don't. They're just not going to be in the game. I just feel that way. So. My thought would be this. The Chargers, I think the change of venue actually helps them in this sense. So they're going home to road, and I think that's a factor here. Now, if the Chargers were staying at home, I might think the Chargers will get complacent, but because they got to leave immediately after their first victory, I think that this bodes well for the Chargers. I think they will cover this. It opened at 2.5. It's a 3 at a lot of shops out here in Vegas right now. 3.5 is tough though. 3.5 is tough. If it's 6 to 3.5, I'd have to go money line on the Chargers. But again, something I might do would tease the total up, go under, right, and then take the Chargers down at plus 2.5 or 3, whatever it is, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, just like I said, looking at the numbers and looking at the spot for the Broncos, I like the Broncos this week, but I probably take, like I said, 3. I've already got the 3.5. I haven't done anything on the money line yet, but money line, it's Wednesday, so I still got some time to feel it. So New York Jets, this is a beauty right here. And if you follow me on Twitter, I gave this out as the lock of the year. Kansas is 150 unit whale right here. Kansas City on the money line. Yeah, Kansas City on the money line. It's not going to lose. So I can't touch this game. I mean, Kansas City is obviously going to win this game. By how much, I don't know. Do they get a big lead and then rest some guys? This is just a really bad game. The Jets, they played tough against Buffalo. They played as hard as they could and still lost 18. They kept Buffalo out of the end zone, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop this Kansas City team. Kansas City might go over the total themselves in this game. So I just think it's going to be a blowout of epic proportion. Do they cover the 20? I don't know, but I'm just staying away from this game. Hopefully you got Kansas City players in your fantasy league, so they're going to go nuts. Yeah. So
could be. They might score 100. But here's the thing. I think the Jets come out firing early. I think they might hang with them for a quarter. Ultimately, though, the talent level is ridiculous. The coaching skill on the one side compared to the other is overwhelming. So the Jets, they not only are they going to lose this game, the Jets fans are hoping they lose this game badly. So, but they're hoping they keep Gase for the end of the year so they get that first draft pick. Bottom line is this, though: Kansas City wins this game. I honestly believe they're going to cover this 20. I honestly believe that. Now, am I going to play it? It's a silly number, and it's when numbers are that big, when totals and spreads are so huge, it's tough for me to really, I wouldn't see it clearly. But if I was betting this game, you forced me to bet this game, I'm not taking the Jets, and I don't know anybody that would. I do know some sharp money came in on the Jets because the number was exorbitant. They're just trying to get value and then maybe middle it later. I don't know, but I'll take the Chiefs minus 20. I think they win by 3 touchdowns or more, and it might take them late in the fourth quarter to get the final score, turnover, pick six, whatever it is, to get up by 21. But I think it happens.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I'm not going to touch this game. I think Kansas City just blows them out. I mean, if you force me to, I'd probably take Kansas City minus 20.
Here's an angle. Here's an angle. Le'Veon Bell coming back to play New York. Going to run wild on New York. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, I love this game here. Tennessee going into Cincinnati. Tennessee favored by 6. This Cincinnati team, I mean, Joe Burrow, he seems like the real deal to me. I mean, I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year because I think Heber, or I keep screwing his name up, but Herbert. There you go.
Yeah.
I think Herbert's going to probably win that. But Burrow's looked really good this year. I mean, he's looking solid. They can't figure out how to win a game. I mean, they gave up the game against Cincinnati. They had a big lead against Indianapolis. So they've been tough. I like them to cover this game. I don't think they're going to win it, but I like them to cover this game against Tennessee. Tennessee's given up. I mean, Tennessee can score. That offense has been great. You know, Derrick Henry's a beast, and Tannehill, you know, off play action. If they can get the run going, he's dangerous. But that Tennessee defense gives up points. I mean, I know the Cincinnati defense is too, but I think Cincinnati can score enough to stay inside this number. So I'm probably going to be on Tennessee plus the 6. I haven't made that bet yet, but I'm looking at Cincinnati plus the 6 this week. I really like that bet.
Now, I think the Carlos Dunlap traded to Seattle. That went down. Is that what that is? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to Seattle. Yep.
Right. So this line jumped a half point. Public's pounding more Tennessee. Look, I'm looking for Burrow to fold. I thought he was going to fold last week. I thought he's going to fold in Indianapolis. This dude doesn't fold. So is it a backdoor cover? Do they catch a lead on Tennessee and then Tennessee comes back to win? I don't see Tennessee losing, but I'm with you. I do see Cincinnati staying inside the 6. I like them to do that. I haven't put a bet on this. And quite honestly, all the games that we're talking about, I haven't put any bets on them. So just make that clear right now. But this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Cincinnati. I want to take Cincinnati to cover it. I'm going to do a little more research before I jump on it. But Joe Burrow, he does things that rookies don't normally do, and he hangs in there. Yeah, they can't close out a game for whatever reason because the defense is a sieve.
Yep.
But he's just giving up a ton of points. And I don't know if Dunlap's loss makes any difference. The defense wasn't good to begin with. So, you know, I mean, you plug someone else in who's more motivated, and maybe they get a better result. I don't know. I'll take a look at it, but I am leaning Cincinnati plus the 6.
Yeah, and I think Mixon's still out, right? Is he on IR?
Yeah. What about AJ Green showing up and having a big game? When's that going to happen? If it doesn't happen against Tennessee and their defense, then it may not happen this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting a good rapport with all 3 of those guys and his tight ends. So, yeah, I like Cincinnati to stay in the number there. So I'm looking forward to that game, see what Cincinnati can do. All right, this is going to be a fun one here. The Rams at Miami. Tua coming in. I can't believe it. Honestly, I think this number should be a little bit higher. I think the Rams are going to just play all kinds of games with Tua. That defensive line is just going to have their way. You know, Jalen Ramsey, the back end. I think Tua, is eventually going to end up being good. But to throw him in here, you know, I know the Rams are on short rest. They're coming off a Monday game, and Miami's coming off the bye. So maybe that's why this number's low. But I love the Rams in this game. I mean, I absolutely love the Rams. I've already bet this game. I don't know if this number is going to go up. I don't have a play on the total at all. It'll be interesting to see how Tua. Yeah, I mean, Tua might beat me here, but I'm betting on that Rams front. I know it's short rest, but I'm betting on the Rams here. I think they're going to score plenty of points, and I think they're going to cover this game pretty easy.
Well, I had a beat on the Rams on Monday night. You know, they just beating down the Bears. Bears had no shot. Here's what I think. I think Miami might hang with them for the first half. That's what I think. So this line's at 3.5. You know, I think that Miami could hang with them because they have everything scripted. They've been on for 2 weeks. They're getting everything ready. They'll hang with them for a half. And then I just think the Rams' talent, skill, experience, and quite honestly, they're just a better team. They'll cover this. They'll cover this in the second half. So you're right. I was surprised this line was low, but again, coming off a Monday night, less a day's rest, and Miami's rested. So again, first half favors Miami, I think, and their fresh legs and their game planning, etc. And I think that's where this is. I saw some money coming in on Miami early. This is really, Miami's 3-3. They're not a bad team. They blew out San Francisco in San Francisco, and San Francisco's playing pretty well right now. So there's some people that feel like Miami has some ability to cover this. As far as the total, man, I have to lean under in this just because the Rams are. I don't think the Rams might get to 24. Miami gets to 17, maybe something like that. I could see something like that going on. But that's where I'm looking right now, and that's where my mindset is, and I have not made a play.
Yeah, there's also a trend in this game. Like I said, I don't bet on trends, but there's an interesting trend. When a team is coming off short rest, so a Monday night game, and they're traveling to the east, and they're playing a team coming off a bye. I think since 2003, they're like 25-9-1 against the spread, or 25-9-3, or something like that. I didn't write it down, but I saw a trend or something like that when this scenario plays out. So that's another trend to kind of to throw in here. But I like the Rams in this. I'm worried about Tua and how healthy he is. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to put him in there if he's still got some, injury issues, but I'm kind of worried about him finishing this game. So I'm looking for the Rams to cover here. That's what I like.
Well, they put him in. They put him in the back end of the Jets game when they were blowing the Jets out.
So he threw a couple passes. Yeah,
he should be all right. He should be all right. But yeah, I'm with you. And of course, there's daylight savings and fall back, so the Rams will get an extra hour of sleep.
That's true. All right, so we're going to go to New England at Buffalo. New England getting 3.5. I have no luck with New England, so I'm not going to bet this game at all, the total or the side. My feel on it is Cam Newton. I don't know if he's going to be the quarterback. I'm sure they're going to keep him in there. I think they said they're going to stick with him, but he's just, you're not going to change. You're not going to coach him. You're not going to change him now. He is who he is. He's going to have good games. He's going to have bad games. So does he show up here and have a good game? I don't know. But Belichick, he just doesn't have, a lot of guys on that defensive side opted out. The offense, Edelman, he can't get Edelman going. The running game isn't going. Nothing's working. Cam's throwing picks. I mean, I would lean to Buffalo here to cover this because I just don't think the Patriots are that good. But again, I never have any luck with the Patriots, so I just stay away from their games altogether. I lean Buffalo to cover this. The total probably going to go under because they seem to struggle to score right now. So I'm going to stay off this game, but I would lean Buffalo. That would be my lean on this game.
Buffalo hasn't covered in 3 weeks.
I know.
And as a matter of fact, I had the Jets on a play last week. I didn't post that on Twitter, but it was a play, and I knew they would cover that. Bottom line here is with Buffalo. I think Buffalo hit the rock bottom, though. I think they're going to start to climb out. I think they're going to have a better performance against New England. I just think New England's done.
I do too.
I think they're done. I think Buffalo covers this 3.5. Buffalo wins by 6 or 7, possibly. And again, that's just my preliminary stuff. But there's no way I'm putting money on New England. Let's put it that way. I'll put it on Buffalo before I put it on New England. And again, I was against Buffalo last week, so that I'm not even though I was born in Buffalo in 1970. So I was a Bills fan during those 4 Super Bowls. But when they sold out Doug Flutie, I jumped off the wagon there. So, but bottom, in 1999. But bottom line is, I think Buffalo will cover this number, and I'll be looking to try to validate that before Sunday.
All right. Our next game is going to be Las Vegas at Cleveland. Right now, Vegas getting 2.5. Vegas is a weird team, man. I mean, they go into Kansas City, beat Kansas City, look really good, and then they come home and just get drilled by Tampa Bay. They lost at home to Buffalo. They beat New Orleans at home. So, I mean, they're just a Jekyll and Hyde team for me. So it's hard to get a beat on them. And Cleveland, I know Odell Beckham Jr. is out now. So it's going to be, Landry and, some other guys that he's got on the outside there and is tight end. And, he's still got Kareem Hunt. So the offense is good, but the defense has struggled. I just, if I look at anything, I'm probably going to play the over in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points. It seems like the Raiders play high scoring games and Cleveland does too. So if I do anything in this, I'm looking at the over in this game. I'm not going to look at a side. I don't have a beat on the side at all. Like I said, Vegas is too Jekyll and Hyde for me. I don't know what team's going to show up, but they usually always give up points and score points. So I'm looking at the over in this game.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a different perspective here. First of all, Cleveland comes back, beats Cincinnati. Now they're going home. This 2.5 is begging for Cleveland money, right? So, I mean, Cleveland, they've only lost, 2 games? They've lost 2 games.
Yep.
So the Raiders are 3-3, I believe. And so what we're looking at here, Cleveland should be favored by a hard 3 minimum. I mean, that's a 2.5. You're asking for Cleveland money. The books might know something here. Vegas is Jekyll and Hyde. What does that mean? That means you don't know what to expect, except you look in the numbers, and I think they can hang with Cleveland. And this is something where this line is so tight that if it lands on 3, I'll be pissed. If I played the 2.5, I'm going to probably tease something with this if I do anything. And I would definitely tease the Raiders up to 8.5 or 9, whatever it is. The total, I'm not too sure of, but I do expect some points. I will tell you this, though. Cleveland really extended itself to win that game last week. Are they tired? Are they drained? They come home. Do they relax a little bit? And the Raiders are able to take advantage of it? I don't know, but I do know this. If I play anything, it'll be the Raiders. And generally speaking, it'll be a teaser 8.5, 9 plus. I'll hook it up with something else, get a minus 120 on it, 6 points.
Yeah, Cleveland screwed me out of my my money line parlay last week with that last second, so I'm pissed at them. So I'm going to stay away from that game. So, all right, next game we got Minnesota going to Green Bay. Minnesota getting 7. I mean Green Bay, they had the one clunker at Tampa Bay, and like I said, I don't know if Aaron got kind of dinged up there and was a little bit out of it, or they seemed to kind of throw the flag in the second half of that game. They looked like world beaters to start. So they went to Houston. They look good at Houston. This Minnesota team is terrible. They're terrible on the defensive side of the ball. And, Kirk Cousins, you never know who's going to show up there. You don't know what team he's going to be throwing it to. So I like Green Bay and the 7 here. I think Green Bay is going to win this game by double digits. I know it's a division game, and that always I say it all the time. Division games always scare me because the teams know each other, but I just think Green Bay is going to out talent them here. So I'm going to. I'll probably look. I had Green. We talked about it last week. Green Bay in the first half last week against Houston, and they Houston didn't. I mean they scored a little bit in the second half, but that game was never in question. I might look at another first half bet here with Green Bay because they've been pretty good at those first half covers for me this year. So I might look at that side too, but I really like Green Bay in this game. I think they're going to cover the 7.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't have a beat on the total. If I did, I'd probably say it's going to go over. But I'll tell you this. This is Minnesota's best chance to come out of this bye and put up some good football. And they weren't able to do that at the beginning of the season. They didn't practice, whatever, COVID. I think they come out of the bye. And listen, I don't know if they're going to win this game, but they will cover this 7 points. So I will take that 7. This is a solid play, whether it's a backdoor, front door, lead, chase, whatever it is. I don't care. The scenario, whatever is going to play out in the game. I just know the final number is going to show that Minnesota is going to cover this game according to what I've seen. And this is one of my favorite plays of the week, to be honest. And it may be my top play by the time Sunday rolls around. So that's where I feel about this. Total, again, I would lean over, but I don't really have a gauge on that right now.
All right, and is Dalvin Cook going to be back in this game? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Injury report comes out tomorrow, does it not?
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't think they put him on IR. I think he was just like a week to week. I don't know if he was missing. They had the bye and he was going to be back this week. Because if Dalvin comes back, I might have to relook at that. I understand where you're coming from, and we're just on the opposite sides of this.
Sure.
I never have any luck with Minnesota too. There's another team. I've got like 4 or 5 teams. Atlanta's another one. Atlanta, every time I go against them, it seems like they beat me. And if I go with them, they let me down. So Minnesota's been one of those teams for me. So you're probably on the right side because I love Green Bay this week. So
I got a friend who's from Minnesota. Sometimes we watch football games together. We watch the Vikings. He's like, this team is terrible, and so we've seen a few Vikings games this year where they're just not ready and prepared to play. I just think Zimmer knows he's like, man, we got to be ready, guys. And so they've had enough football they played, and even though let's talk about Seattle. Seattle's not a very good team, but they did hang with Seattle with some confidence. They lost the game late. They're familiar with Green Bay. They didn't put up the right numbers when they first played them, but I think you're looking at a team that's motivated right now, and they'll put their best effort at least on Sunday. I don't care what happens the rest of the season. I don't know, but I think on Sunday they'll get the job done.
All righty. Next game is going to be New Orleans at Chicago, and for me, New Orleans getting 4.5. Chicago's coming off the short rest on the road Monday night. Their offense is just brutal. I think that game was going to be a blowout. I think a lot of people felt that they were going to start. I was on the under. I didn't think Chicago's offense was going to do anything in that game, and they didn't. I think the defense outscored the offense there. They played a 24-10 game, but for some reason I like Chicago in this game. New Orleans on the road, especially in outdoor venues, they seem to, like, over the last 2 or 3 years, they seem to struggle in this situation for me. It seems like a 4.5. They should be able to cover this. And Chicago, but I don't know. I like Chicago in this game. I like the 4.5, and I even like Chicago to win this game. I know they're 5-2, and everybody says they're the worst 5-2. They were the worst 5-1 team, but that defense keeps them in every game. And Drew Brees just isn't the same Drew Brees to me. And New Orleans, I know Michael Thomas is probably going to be back in this game, so that's probably going to make a little bit of a difference for them. But I really like Chicago in this game. I like them to cover that 4.5. I don't know if this line goes to 5, but if I do anything in this game, I'm going to be on Chicago 4.5. And if the money line I'll have to see who's playing, who's out. Like I said, it's Wednesday. I haven't made a play like that, but I really like Chicago 4.5 in this game.
It's tough because usually if a team is good and they lose a game, they'll bounce back and play very, very well in the next game. So in that sense, you think that Chicago might cover the spread. New Orleans, they couldn't get away from Carolina last week. They couldn't, and they almost had to go to overtime to get that victory. However, I felt that New Orleans played a better game last week than they did the before the bye, which was against the Chargers. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing at this point in time until the football gets kicked. But game could go either way. This is a game I may look to stay off of just because of that. Chicago pulls out these Houdini things that get turnover. And listen, Drew Brees is the kind of guy, he might give him one. You're right. And it's outdoors. Yep. The weather could be a factor by Sunday. You just don't know. This is Chicago. And I know some people who live in Chicago, and it's been touch and go with this weather. So the weather could crank up. I didn't read a weather report. That'll factor. That'll be a factor. I'm looking at the under, though. I'm looking at the under because, the weather and the elements and the fact that Chicago can't score. If Chicago's going to win this game, they're going to have to stop New Orleans from scoring, which they might be able to do because Drew Brees just isn't Drew Brees. I don't care if Thomas is back. He's been out. They won't be in rhythm, especially not on the turf. And, so you're looking at natural grass slowing down, weather. Yeah, you could get a low-scoring game. Bottom line is this: I'm not sure, and I'm talking a whole bunch of stuff right now. But I would lead to the under for. That's my primary thing here. I would lead to the under.
Yeah, no, I like the under too. I mean, the Chicago is the defense is elite. I mean, those guys keep them in every game, and like I said, New Orleans outside for me is just when they go outside, they're playing an outside venue, especially an outside venue with weather. It seems to me like they struggle in those types of games. And, do they win this game? Maybe. I think I'm looking at a 3-point game here. I actually like Chicago to win this game. Don't ask me why. It's still Wednesday. I haven't made a play on this game yet. Either way, but I really like Chicago plus 4.5, and I might be looking at the money line. So let's move on.
If you let me keep talking, I might talk myself into that. So,
All right. So let's go to the next game. We got San Francisco at Seattle, a division matchup. This NFC West is just tough, man. They got 19 wins in the division, every team above 500. So it's a really good division. San Francisco looked like they were dead, 2 weeks ago when Miami went there and just threw 47 up on them. And then they go to, New England and win. The Rams come in, they beat the Rams, and now they're going to go to Seattle, and Seattle's coming off that tough loss at Arizona. This Seattle defense, man, we talked about it, I think, in the last podcast. They just give up the farm. They're giving up over 370 passing yards, which in this game, I don't know if that's going to be that big a deal because I know the 49ers like to run, but they're also giving up a ton of, rushing yards too. And they're just giving up points, but Russell has been able to keep them in these games. So all of this I'm saying is I'm not going to play this game. I'm rooting for San Francisco because I'm a Cardinal guy. So I'm rooting for San Francisco to get the win here, but I really don't have a beat on this game. 3-point game. It could be a 3-point game between these two guys. Like I said, Seattle and San Francisco seem to play games like Arizona and Seattle play. I mean, let's just face it. Seattle seems to play every game like that. Right. Every game they play comes down to the last 2 minutes of the game. So this 3, I mean, if you made me do anything, I'd probably take San Francisco in the 3 points, but this is probably going to be a game I just watch and I root for San Francisco to beat Seattle.
Probably a smart bet. I'll say this: it might land on 3. It might land on 3. You might. Everybody might push. You might see, even threes out there. But it did open at 4, I believe, maybe 4.5, and it's dropped down. A lot of money's coming on San Francisco. San Francisco's playing very well. My concern is this: they were in Foxborough, which is on the northeast coast, right? Now you're going to the Pacific Northwest, and so they're doing a lot of traveling last couple of weeks. Of course, they're in San Francisco, so it's not too far from to them to trot up to Seattle. But they did go to Foxborough, even though they beat the Patriots handily. It might have taken a toll on them. And as a matter of fact, speaking of taking a toll, Seattle goes to overtime. That might have taken a toll on the Seattle team. A little blow their confidence there. They're steamrolling, and then they go to overtime. So, tough game. I think San Francisco's defense is playing pretty well right now. Their front seven has overcome the injuries. They're getting after it. Sure, they did get blown out by Miami, but, Garoppolo wasn't right, and he came back and he acquitted himself pretty well last couple of games. I think it's a close game. It's one of those things where, again, teaser, San Francisco plus the points. It's one of those games where these teams are going to fight tooth and nail to the end. It might come out to whoever has the ball last. It might be that. So,
Yeah. And
you know,
Seattle games this year, 62.5 points. So they're averaging 62.5 points in their games this year. So, the over is always in play with
absolutely.
Seattle and that defense. So yeah, it's you're right. It might be, the last one to touch it wins. And that's usually Seattle. So
Right, yeah.
yeah. All right. And then the Sunday night game this week is Dallas at Philadelphia. Dallas getting 7. I don't know if Andy Dalton, I know he's probably in concussion protocol after that hit. And I know there's been a lot made that nobody came to his, aid or stood up for him when he took that hit. I think Dallas is just a mess. I was listening to, I forget, I think it was Mark Schlereth talking today. And I kind of agree with him. And he said it's been the same, like since Jerry Jones took over, that McCarthy, I know you talked about McCarthy and Costin,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, maybe some Super Bowls, but McCarthy, let's just face it, he doesn't have any power. Jerry Jones is doing, interviews after the games.
Yeah.
He's doing talk shows. Schlereth said, players play, coaches coach, owners own. And that's what Jerry Jones just can't do. He's got to have his hands all over everything. So this Dallas team is just, they're a mess. They've been a mess for a long time. Dak being out, I just don't, I don't know if Dalton's going to be able to play. I don't know if Dalton wants to play. So I don't even know who came in last week. I saw the person that came in. I don't know his name. But Philadelphia has started to play good, and they're starting to get people back. And that defense at home usually plays really well. I think I got to go with Philadelphia here. I don't know if this number is going to jump to 7.5. I don't know if it gets to 8. It's probably going to stay at 7. But I would look at Philadelphia here. I would definitely look at Philadelphia maybe first half. But I like Philadelphia in this game. And the total, I don't know if Dallas can score. They might be with their third string quarterback. So the under might be the play here.
Yeah, the under might be the play. Here's the thing. Going back to McCarthy before I talk about the play. McCarthy he's got Mike Nolan as defensive coordinator. Okay, he chose him. He had Rob Marinelli there, and the defense was pretty good before he came in. They just needed some organization and some structure because Jason Garrett obviously was a rah-rah guy, and that's all he did. He was they call him the clapper, is what I heard a lot of people call him. But, so Mike Nolan was the coach when Mike McCarthy was the offensive coordinator in San Francisco. So, bottom line is, hey, I'm doing you this favor. I'm going to hire you as D coordinator. You haven't D coordinated for about 6 years. And your last post, which was in Atlanta, you got blown up, So, man, it's a fraternity. Hey, let's put you in here. I'll give you a job, blah, blah, blah. And bottom line is this: Mike McCarthy is not a good coach. He had great quarterbacks that could do, and they ad-libbed. Both Favre and Rodgers would ad-lib in spite of McCarthy's thing, and that's how they won the games. And then ultimately, McCarthy's rigid coaching style and his rigid game planning without an ability to adjust cost him, I think, playoff wins. So bottom line is this, though. Jerry Jones talks because, the media, he gives the media good sound bites. He says things that coaches won't talk about. I love hearing him talk, too, because he's honest. He's like, yeah, we're not doing it right now. It's just not good. But back to the game. Philadelphia is going to cover this spread, this 7 points, because Dallas has no shot. No shot. Philadelphia might get in the 20s. Dallas might get 10, 14 points. Bottom line is, I like this. If it's at 7.5, it's going to beg for Dallas money. Come Sunday late afternoon, it might even hit 8. But my bottom line is, and I keep saying bottom line, but I think Philadelphia is going to dominate this game. I think they're going to have like a coming out party. And look, they may not light up the scoreboard to the tune of 30, but I think they're going to control this game from start to finish. I think Dallas is not ready to win a game, plain and simple.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not going to say that they've, thrown the towel in on the season, but, losing Dak, I know that was, the offense was, at least the offense was a well-oiled machine and they were playing really well. The defense was giving up the farm just like Seattle, but the offense was able to keep them in a lot of the games. And with Dak out there, Andy Dalton, I feel bad about the hit he took and everything, but before that even happened, to me, it looked like Andy Dalton wanted no part of being on the field. It looked like he was like, I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to hold a clipboard. I'm going to make money. He wanted no part of being out there. He looked scared when he went out against or when he played against the Cardinals. He had happy feet, and he had happy feet in that game. And so
should have been ready for that game, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he looked to me like he wanted no part of the field there. So, they're probably looking at a third string quarterback. And like I said, Philadelphia, I like the way Philadelphia has been playing the last few weeks. They've been banged up like crazy, and they've just been fighting. That team they just keep fighting. And I think And another thing, with
Yeah,
the
they don't
7
quit.
point,
They don't quit. They're relentless.
and the other thing is Peterson, he always does this crazy stuff with 2-point conversions. A lot of times when they score the first touchdown and the first points of the game, he always goes for 2. So, a lot of times that 7, it work for you and it work against you depending on what side you're on. But a lot of times he doesn't send the kicker out there. He'll go for that 2, and then you got odd scores going the rest of the game. So that's always a nervous thing with Peterson and the Eagles, because they love to go for 2 when they score first. And I think they're going to score first here and probably go for 2. So that's something to look at always when you're watching the Eagles play, is I think they lead the league in 2-point conversions, going for it. So that's another little thing in this game that I look at. So that pretty much wraps up the Sunday card.
I think Dallas might want to make a trade for Fitzpatrick from Miami, because that division is winnable, and that dude will swing that ball around. I mean, he's not scared. You need to bring somebody who's not scared in there.
That guy loves the ball. Yeah, I actually feel bad for Fitzpatrick. I kind of wish they would let him have the year and let Tua, just kind of sit behind him, learn this year. I think that would be the right thing to do. But they're probably going to hold on to Fitzpatrick, because I don't know if Tua makes it through the season here. So and Miami's 3-3. So I mean they're in it. They can make it. They can make the playoffs here. I mean they're 3-3. So I don't know why they're making the switch, but I think we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to watch. So.
Let's wrap it up. What do you think?
I like what we're doing here on Wednesdays. We kind of made this a last second thing, so I think next week it'll be really good. I'll have a lot more numbers. I think you'll have a lot more numbers, and we'll do this really, really good. I think we did really well today. But again, we've got the Legit Betting Edge podcast, the YouTube channel up. So everybody, like I said, if you like what you see, definitely talk with us. I know Brian's DMs are open. My DMs are open. If you, or even on Twitter, tell us what you want. Tell us, what you'd like to hear. If you like what you're seeing, if you don't like what you're seeing, if you have suggestions, if you have questions, whatever, just engage with us, help us out, retweet, subscribe, do all those things to help us out. We're going to be here. We're going to be here for a while. Basketball's just around the corner. College basketball starting November 24th. Got our fingers crossed. And then the NBA, Brian here is an NBA crusher. So yeah, you're going to want to, listen to him and in the NBA, because he does really well.
When's it starting? Yeah. So when's it starting?
Yeah. I've heard December. I've heard January. I know November 25th for college basketball. That's what they're looking for. Whether it starts on time or not, I don't know. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for that. But again, you can find me on Twitter at ScojoAZSports. My Instagram is ScojoPicks, and my website is ScojoPicks.com. And again, we've got our YouTube channel up, Legit Betting Edge Podcast. Go over there, subscribe. We need to get subscribers. Like I said, retweet, tell people to go to the page and subscribe, tell your friends, family members, whoever, and do what you can to help us out.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate you giving us some guidance. We're going to be here for a while. We want to help this thing just grow and get as good as it possibly can with suggestions from our viewers and listeners, and we appreciate it. You can find me at @my_bankroll on Twitter. DM me, tweet me, whatever you want to do. I'm there. I shoot videos. I'll put the content on there. Also, that's it for today. Legit Betting Edge podcast number 6 is over.
Cool. All right.
Cool. Hey, real quick, Scott. I don't know. I think it says Legit Betting Edge podcast on there. If not, we can make the channel. We can make it say Legit Betting Edge podcast. But I think it's just Legit Betting Edge. I didn't make a channel. I don't know if I made a channel for it. I created the login. It's like you log into Gmail, and then you just go to YouTube and you're logged in as that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'll check it out. I'll go there and see if.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can.
If not, just create Legit Betting Edge podcast. Just put it on there. Whatever. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
So you want me to go ahead and chop these up game by game, and then we can put them out game by game, or
load the whole thing first, and then chop them up tomorrow, and then that way we can post them tomorrow afternoon and Friday, so that we can have more content. That way you can give me the links. I'll post them on my Twitter for each game, and then we'll have people going and signing up.
Okay. Yeah. No. And then and then do you used to have the the link where they can go to your page and pay and stuff like that? Because I was looking for links like to where we can do that on the bottom.
Oh shit! Yeah. I don't need that right now. Don't worry about it. Just do yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But very good. Yeah. Very good.
Well, and I'm kind of with you right now. I'm just trying to build and get people to start going to our web page, and to our YouTube page, and get used to our faces and stuff like that. So
Right,
I mean,
right,
and then
right.
eventually I think it'll pay off. So
Yeah, I think it will. And I think when we do segments on these games, we're going to get viewers that leave Twitter to go check it out, and we'll have them right. We'll say, hey, go check out our preview and then subscribe also. So those, and it'll build. It'll build. Well, it'll start out small, but it'll build. It'll build.
all right, man. Yeah, so I'll get this downloaded and I'll probably start chopping some of it up tonight, and then I'll probably finish it up tomorrow, and then we'll start. If you want to start releasing it on Friday or whenever.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, let's do that. If that sounds. Hey, let's put the Atlanta Carolina game. Let's chop that up, get that out, so we can both put it on our Twitter feeds and have them go. Okay.
all right, man. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Talk to you.
Take it. Bye.